an overthinking perfectionistic high achiever struggling to get unstuck, you might be surprised to find out what I'm about to share with you. My name is Elyssa Smith. This is the Unlock Your Blocks podcast, and I'm so excited for you to understand what the key to all of your self-sabotage is and how to actually get rid of it for good. Now, you're not sabotaging your success by being lazy, unmotivated, by not being intelligent enough or a hard enough worker. We tend as perfectionists who are high achievers to think if we can just be the hardest worker in the room, we'll be able to beat this, the bad habit, the self-sabotage, procrastination, whatever it is. But here's the thing, you literally cannot work your way out of this because your self-sabotage is caused by self-doubt. Let me walk you through why that is, where it comes from, and actually how to break through to the other side and get free of it for good. So chances are you're an independent, strong human who is pretty successful in most areas. You're used to being able to work your way to success and perform well, and you feel that constant pressure. Maybe you're really used to it now, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of pressure on you all the time, but maybe you have operated your whole life that you need to be the highest achiever that you can. But at this point in your life, or maybe this is historical for you as well, you get stuck overthinking, overanalyzing, and then you never really take the steps that you know you need to take to get the results you want to achieve, especially if this is new territory for you. If you're doing something new, so if you're an entrepreneur and you're learning how to be visible on social media or start a podcast, maybe you're working in your job, in your career, and you're afraid to ask for more responsibility, a promotion, more money. There are all kinds of ways that we get in our own way, and the root of all of it is self-doubt. This is a safety-seeking response. So you get stuck over analyzing, you can't quite move past it. This is where it starts, though. It's not something that you just need to try harder, be better, do more, and then you can get past it. This actually is a brain pattern that starts when you're little. So any level, when you're a small person, any level of trauma. So we talk about big T trauma, little T trauma, and I even talk about tiny T trauma, which is little emotional needs going unmet throughout childhood. Anytime that any of those take place, or you just have a need that went unmet. You wanted something and didn't get it, or you didn't know how to express your feelings once and nobody really knew how to help you, or no one knew that you were struggling. It may not have been anything big and bad, but what your system learns when you're little and these things happen is that the world is an unsafe place and I can't keep myself safe. So here's the thing. When you have that, when you learn that, your body and your nervous system and your brain, that survival part of your brain that's not very advanced, it's definitely the primal part of the brain. When all of those figure out, oh gosh, we're not safe, we need to send protection in. We need to protect ourselves. We need to have protector parts that come to the rescue. So it's a really good thing because back then, your procrastination, the perfectionism you had about how well you perform, don't get an A, get an A plus. All of those pressures were put on you by your nervous system, who realized if I perform better, I'm safer. If I can do better, work harder than the next person, I will be in a better place to get my own needs met. So when that original belief happens, though, the world is an unsafe place and I can't keep myself safe, it means that you go into self-protection mode, in this survival mode that's very primal. It's not necessarily logical, but it's all rooted in self-doubt. So you can't just be like, just try harder to be on time, or just try harder not to protect yourself, not to procrastinate or be a perfectionist. You can't really do that. You also cannot talk your way out of things like negative self-talk or imposter syndrome. You can't talk yourself out of it. You can't work yourself out of it because it all goes back to this core belief: I can't keep myself safe. Therefore, I shouldn't trust myself. So if I can't keep myself safe and I shouldn't trust myself, my best efforts get me judged, abandoned, rejected out of the herd, is what your brain thinks is happening, then you're going to be in a position where you're going to be picked off by a predator. It goes back to those really primal responses like, hey, we need to just not die. So let's not expose ourselves to doing our best on something and then getting rejected for it. So we put it off till we can no longer do our best. Let's not put something out there before it's perfect because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be abandoned and rejected by the herd. So we're going to work on it, overanalyze, overthink. We're going to never take that big leap of faith And it might even be a small step technically, but it feels like this big leap of faith when we're doing something new, doing something to be more visible, doing something that seems and feels different to our system. None of that will feel safe if you truly are doubting that you can keep yourself safe in general. Your system will not allow you to move forward. I work with women who are just looking to do better around their house. I have a client right now. She just wants to stay on top of her housework and not feel like it's a monster every single day. I have another woman who's running a 7-figure business and just wants to be able to talk herself through the teeny tiny steps she needs to make to get to that next level of business. So we all have these unknown spaces that we want to ultimately go into. But when you have that core belief structure that I can't keep myself safe, therefore I need to have these protector parts do it for me, then we're not going to be able to succeed at the level that we deserve. We're not going to have the joy that we really want. We're not going to have the peace and the life that we're really wanting to work for. So the protector parts are the sabotage. Those are the ones that are keeping us in this cycle of always second guessing ourselves, always doubting, oh gosh, but maybe I should get the peanut gallery to weigh in on every single decision. Now, I am a huge fan. When I work with a one-to-one client, we always set up a really good support network. You need mentors, you need peers, you need, people who are really close to you and know all of your potential sabotages so that they can help gently and lovingly hold you accountable. It's an art to do that for someone without shaming them. But you need that. And then you need people who are maybe a little further out, that are just people that you're leaning on logistically for things as you're learning not to take the world on your own shoulders. I know, shocker, scary stuff. So here's the thing, I'm all for support. But if you can't be okay until you know that your plan makes sense in like you're looking at your plan in every form and on all sides and upside down, and you're making sure, and then you're making sure everyone else thinks that your plan works, and and then maybe you can't still move forward on it. Listen, girl, I'm in the same boat. This is what we do when we're motivated by a sense of self-doubt that says, I think this is good, but I better not trust it. So then we're overthinking, we're getting the decision fatigue. There's all this stuff that can then come in, burnout. I mean, we're working so hard all the time anyway, and then you're second guessing yourself on top of it all. I mean, we're just going to end up in this cycle and we will get burned out. So the other thing to keep in mind is that whenever that situation happened when you were little, and God forbid you had big T traumas, and I hope that if you did, you're recovering from those and you have really good therapy on your side and a coach. But if you are, whatever you're recovering from, whatever those initial moments of your childhood were, where your body, your nervous system, your vagus nerve, your amygdala, those are all the little parts of your survival brain and your survival system. They're wonderful parts. They're the reason we're still here. But every time they think that something out here in today's world, as you're an adult, looks like, feels like, smells like, seems even a little bit like those original places where we didn't feel safe in those moments, the need went unmet, the trauma happened, then your overriding system of the survival brain system is going to take over, and you're not going to be able to just choose to stop procrastinating or choose to do the thing that you know to do but can't seem to make yourself do it. It's really not a choice at that point. We can't just combat the protector parts because, if you're here, you probably have tried and failed at that, like I did most of my life until I discovered how to work with the nervous system to actually rewire the brain. So if we can't just work harder and combat these protector parts, then what do we do? Okay. So this is the beautiful part. What is the opposite of self-doubt? Self-confidence, right? How do you just build self-confidence? Because I come across as an extremely self-confident person. I always heard this growing up, that no one really thought I ever needed help because I just could handle it all. But that was also part of my hero daughter identity. And you may be able to relate to this. When that's your identity, you don't feel like it's safe to ask for help. Again, not asking for help, isolating, protector part. Not helpful as an adult. Not helpful at all. You have to be connected. You have to co-regulate with people. I can do a whole episode just on the importance of co-regulation for adult humans. And it's something that we do not focus on enough. And most of us don't get enough of it. So we end up just kind of feeling like these little, I don't know, I kind of picture us as when we're depleted, it's like we're little skeletons walking around. We don't have the the meat on our bones because we are not connected with ourselves or with anyone else. So what do we do then if we have always seemed confident, but we actually are lacking the self-confidence that would help us overcome the second guessing of ourselves and our own decisions? So here's the solution. How do you get self confidence? It comes from self validation. So if we need to get rid of self doubt, we have to replace it with self confidence. And in order to build that, we have to validate ourselves. This may just sound really simple, but I am working with a couple of different clients right now that this has been aha moment after aha moment, just like it was for me. Because I thought, well, it doesn't make any sense that like me just telling myself, good job, self, is going to make any difference. Okay. We're not talking about that. It was like, I was like, this is so cheesy, so dumb. Me showing love to myself, me buying myself gifts. Like, how is that supposed to take the place of somebody else showing me love, someone else giving me gifts? And here's the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference between you giving yourself validation and someone else giving it to you, but you might have never learned to validate yourself. So here's where someone else can come in and help you. So if you have a friend, or this is a huge piece of what I do for my one-to-one clients, I create a safe space where we talk about the things that you feel the most ashamed about like, oh gosh, I just need to work harder at this, or I'm so embarrassed I got caught scrolling on my phone at work and now I'm about to lose my job. That's a real story of one of my one-to-one clients. And so what we do is we work on understanding why those things are happening. There is such a good reason that you're getting stuck. There's such a good reason that you are sabotaging yourself. You're not even doing it intentionally. It's just your system is trying to protect you. There are very, very good reasons. And we uncover these reasons in the free Unlock Your Blocks focus calls that I offer. So if you want one of those, we can uncover all the reasons why you're doing the things you do, 15 minutes or less. I kid you not. So how do we get the validation piece? Well, once you make it make sense why you're doing what you do, it's a lot easier. But it's really hard to read the label from inside the jar. I love that analogy because when I was trying to heal from trauma and self-sabotage and procrastination and being late all the time, I could not figure out what the link was between all those behaviors. So it took someone else. I was working with a coach, and this is what inspired me to become a coach, is that I was able to have her assess what was happening for me. And she was like, oh, she didn't call me this, but I talk to myself like this now, like, oh, babe, you've got trauma. That's why. This makes perfect sense. No one who's been through what you've been through would have any different responses than what you're responding. So that's the really beautiful piece, is that you can start to be validated by someone else and learn how to do it for yourself. And once you learn it for yourself, it leads to an unstoppable self-confidence that will inevitably break every decision-making analysis paralysis cycle that you've ever found yourself in. So I hope that's helpful for you. Self-doubt is the reason that you have self-sabotage behaviors and that those protector parts feel like they need to come out. And self-confidence fueled by plenty of validation is the answer. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you're taking such good care of yourself. And until next time, I hope that you'll take a look at validating yourself a little bit more, helping your protector parts see that you are now here and you can make sure that you keep yourself safe.